Hello, my friends. So I haven't been live in a while. Hold on, just connecting my camera. Okay. All right, here we go. So I haven't been live in a while. I'm really pleased to be connecting with all of you today. And what inspired me to jump on today was that this past week and a half, I've been posting my Instagram videos over on YouTube. And the first few days, my God, this camera is really clear, right? I found a way to hook up my iPhone to my laptop. So that's really good. So anyways, what I wanted to say is that I've been posting my Instagram videos to YouTube. And at first I thought, well, this is going to be great because now I can just basically scale it across all platforms and take my content, my daily content, and put it on every platform for people who want to tune in. And I thought that'll be a lot easier. And then I started creating these really cool thumbnails and I got into that. And then a week into it, and thank you guys for being here with me today. Quebec is in the house, my hometown. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying. After a week of doing that, I was like, this is starting to feel like a chore. Uploading my Instagram videos to YouTube takes a little while because YouTube takes a while to upload. And then creating thumbnails on top of that with my face in them. So I have to constantly take photos, which to me is very not me. Like, I don't like to snap photos of myself every day. So then it started to feel laborious. It started to feel like a chore or like a job. And why am I on here today? Because I want to talk about how readily available the quantum field is to us right now in terms of the nuances of what we feel, in terms of tuning into a frequency and distinguishing between that frequency and other frequencies that feel better to us. So right now, there's like a massive opportunity for all of us to quantum leap ourselves. I always liked showing up on YouTube once, twice a week. And then I thought, let me try to switch gears and try something different. Thank you, Chandra, for your donation. Thank you. Thank you. So then I thought, let me try something different. And I really enjoy the thumbnails. I think they've kind of like spunked up or spiced up my page, and I love that. And I find that it's important for all of us when we're on the spiritual path, navigating these waters, to be very idealistic, but also realistic. And so my greatest takeaway from doing these thumbnails and posting my videos to YouTube every day was that I love the thumbnails. I don't love posting my videos every day on YouTube. I find that it takes me out of my spontaneity, and I happen to be a very spontaneous person, which is why I love Instagram. It allows me to show up and then I'm done. Peace out. And I also love YouTube because I didn't plan this at all, and then it's like, peace out. So it's all about kind of tuning into your preferred state of frequency. What is your preferred state? And whenever it feels like there's effort involved, so you wanted to attempt something new, thinking that it might minimize the amount of effort, and then you realize that it takes more effort, your spirit, your higher self doesn't let you. Hold on one second. Something's up with my light. Something's up with my light. 1 second, guys. Okay, so I'm back. And thank you, Art3Ms. Thank you guys for your donations. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Rena. Thank you, Rena, as well. So anyways, so long story short is I found that there was a takeaway. So the upswing or the upside of posting the videos every day is I realized I love the thumbnail and the way my page looks now, but I don't love stepping out of my alignment to post videos every day. Because a lot of times when I'm on Instagram, I'm just out and about and I just post, and then I don't want to have to think about going home and uploading it through my laptop. So right now, all of us have a tremendous chance to quantum leap ourselves because the quantum field is fully accessible and available to us now. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Lee. And we really have to get to a place where we realize that when you follow what feels good to you, that's always going to take you to your highest destination because it's in keeping or it's in vibrational accord with your vibrational fingerprint, with your soul signature. Anytime you do something that feels like effort, it's strenuous, it's tedious, it's blah, then you're going to suffer the consequences of that because you're draining your energy. And a lot of times we do that because we don't believe, we still have a belief that there's a right way to do it. And so we overexert ourselves trying to fit everything into a mold when really, if you really believe that your soul signature is packed with your blueprint, with your life plan, with all the dreams that you're going to be realizing in this life, then there's no right or wrong. You just do what feels right to you. So had I kept doing it, it wouldn't have been wrong per se, but it would have gone against my highest alignment, and my highest alignment equates to my highest frequency, to my original frequency. So it's really important to tune into that. And I found that I was uploading all day long or taking photos all day long, which takes you out of your creative mind. And then I wasn't able to take sessions. I wasn't doing these lives, and thank you for your donations. I wasn't making donations anymore. So I realized that I was actually, because my personality is that I want to give all the time. I'm just like that. I just want to give. I don't care if I stop doing webinars. I don't care if I stop selling webinars. I don't care about that. I just want to give. That's my nature. But then I found wait, I'm never in my creative mind anymore because I'm constantly focusing on when the upload's going to be complete. And I'm not even making donations, which is basically the only way that I live, or one of the only ways I live. But my donations is the main way I live. And not only that, I'm overexposing myself on YouTube. And I like magic. I like being able to connect with you guys and have it be a magical moment. And other people may have a different frequency where they don't mind showing up every single day and it doesn't lose the value. They don't lose value. But again, you have to listen to your own frequency. And I always say, follow the warm. Remember that game we used to play as kids? You're getting warmer, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer, or you're getting colder, you're getting colder. In other words, you're getting closer or you're moving further away from your native frequency. You have to tune into that. So why am I on here today? Whew, okay, so if you think about the frequency that you've been dwelling at, so sometimes we can be at a higher frequency, we feel sovereign, we feel unapologetically like ourselves, we feel free. That's a higher frequency because the higher you go, the less attached you are to the physical plane. You're not trying to control things because you realize that everything is just an illusion based on the belief that you hold. So what you need to understand is that beliefs hold your reality in place. When you have a set of beliefs, those beliefs are like digits that you dial on a phone, and it dials in a reality. So I have a belief that I'm not abundant. I'll just use a very simple example. I have a belief that I'm not abundant. I'm going to go work at Walmart because this belief tells me that I'm not going to be abundant if I don't believe in my dreams, if I don't believe that my higher self has a greater plan for me. And that belief is going to cause me to apply at Walmart. Nothing wrong with working at Walmart, but typically when you see someone grumpy, right, or a little testy, and they're working at Walmart, it's because they don't want to be there. And I think we can all agree that we've been there before. Not to Walmart, but to in this space where you're like not wanting to do something. And my belief has always been don't do it, because there are higher planes of existence where it's all about integrity and not being like a skunk stinking up the place with your negative energy. So there are different levels, there are different measures of vibrations. And so when you have a belief that you have to work at Walmart, but you don't want to work at Walmart, you have a counterproductive or counterintuitive belief that you're running. And so when you're there, you're going to be like huffing and puffing, because your truest frequency is telling you you don't want to be there, but your belief is telling you you have to be there. Ooh, that was really good. See, that's why I miss doing YouTube. Okay, so what did I just say? Your highest frequency is telling you you don't want to be there, but your belief is telling you that you have to be there. So now you have a contradiction in your vibratory field. And so it causes you to be in that anguish. It causes you to be in that suffering. So your beliefs hold, it's like a tent. You have the different pieces or the different parts of a tent, and it holds the tent up. Your beliefs hold your reality together. Your beliefs will also dictate your frequency, and your frequency will also dictate your beliefs. If you have a very high frequency, you won't play in lower beliefs. You'll use beliefs to create. So beliefs are what shape reality, any reality. I believe that I'm abundant. I believe that nothing can touch me. I believe that the world will serve me. ... You can go on and on and on. But what you want to do is use beliefs that are for your benefit, beliefs that will catapult you and allow you to have an exquisite experience on this physical earth plane. And a lot of times, because we don't really believe, we kind of settle for less, you know? And we say things like, I hope my situation changes. I hope my situation changes. Hope to me is a very low vibration. It's not very low, but it's not the highest vibration. Hope is like, I've given all my power away to outer circumstances or people or things, and I hope that things get better. So you're not in charge. You actually don't have the joystick, and you're not playing your own game. Trust is a higher frequency. So I trust, I am fearless, I'm sovereign, and I trust that everything's going to unfold perfectly and divinely. But believe it or not, trust isn't the highest frequency. Because with trust, you're still doing this. You still have an attachment to the outcome. So I'm fearless, I'm sovereign, and I trust that everything will unfold. That's great, that's positive. I use the word trust all the time. But there's an even higher frequency, which is a knowing. I'm sovereign, and I know that life bends in my favor. I know that the truth will always be shown to me. Yes? So in other words, if you're wanting a house, if you're wanting to buy a house, and you're like, I hope it goes through, nothing wrong with that, but you're still hoping. If you're like, I'm buying this house and I trust that everything will pan out, it's a higher frequency. I trust that everything will pan out. I trust. The even higher frequency is I know that if it doesn't pan out, then it wasn't for me. And I don't even care. I don't even need to talk about it, because in my knowing, when I create from my space of knowing, everything that works in my favor or not is all in my favor. You have zero attachments. Okay? So I trust that things will work out is still an attachment to the future. I know that it's all here right now. Nothing can harm me. Nothing can touch me. I know. Then you're collapsing time. Or you can say your converging time. There's nothing left but you in this present moment. So now let me talk about what I came here to talk about. So a lot of you have been oscillating at a frequency that connects you to different people in your life. It connects you to this job. So frequency and belief can be used interchangeably. It's not quite the same thing, but you get it. If you have a belief that someone's gonna hurt you and that you need to constantly shield yourself, then your frequency is lower because you're living in a state of unsafety. You're looking over your shoulder constantly. So it's a lower frequency. So for this video, let's just use frequency and beliefs interchangeably. The frequency that you've been at has connected to it different people in your life. It can be an ex of yours. It can be a job. It can be the house that you want. It can be all kinds of things, all these scenarios that you drum up in your mind based on that frequency, because that frequency has you tethered to these different variables in your life. Thank you guys for the donations. I appreciate you. Thank you, Liana. I see you. Thank you, Adriana. I see you. Thank you, Casual Starseed. Ooh, I like that name. Okay, so let's just say that you've been dwelling at the frequency 3.4, whatever that means, gigahertz. You've been dwelling at the 3.4 gigahertz. In that 3.4, think of it as a vibrational range. That 3.4 is holding Jonathan in your life, is holding Melissa, whom you like but you don't sure you really love. It's holding this job that you despise. It's holding all these different things. So it's like a container. And within that container, you have all these different people. If you were to connect to letting go of the things that don't feel good to you because you refuse anything less than that, meaning you know that you're a child of God, you know you're a child of Source, you know you're a child of the universe, and you will not settle for less, then you would see that there's a higher frequency calling you. And that higher frequency might be something along the lines of, you don't really want to be at the job. You should just stop. It's a lot of effort. Or it might be that you have a tumultuous relationship with Jonathan or with Melissa. It's a lot of effort. Like everything you say to them falls on deaf ears. They always misinterpret what you say. You're always fighting for the friendship. You're always fighting for the relationship. And it's a lot of effort. So you would see that there's a higher frequency. If you tune into that frequency right now, I want you to feel into it. Feel into the frequency of letting go, of not fighting anymore. Now, you're going to see in your third eye that most of those people that were part of the 3.4 gigahertz, they won't be able to sustain your new frequency. So they're going to fall by the wayside. You can even sense this through your empathy, through your connectivity, through your intuitiveness. You can sense it. So for me, I'll go back to my example. Last week, I was posting stuff, all my Instagram videos onto YouTube. And my truest frequency was saying, it's a little exhausting. Let it go. Like you tried, it didn't work. Let it go. You got the thumbnails out of it. Wonderful. Let it go. Now you won't have to do a thumbnail every single day, right? So by tapping into that frequency and being in acceptance of it, I saw the timeline of me posting to YouTube every single day collapse. And it was like, oh, I can breathe a sigh of relief now. I can exhale. Oh, anytime you can exhale, that points to your higher frequency. So, why am I talking about this? Because there are going to be more and more people who are currently in your life who were supposed to fall away last month, but you've been holding on by dwelling at that frequency, being afraid of the unknown, afraid to unclamp yourself from that frequency at 3.4 and move into the unseeable 4.5. From one perspective, you can say that you're upping your frequency, but the even more proportionate or the more accurate description would be that you're letting go of frequencies that are not a match to your truest frequency. So you're not really upping your frequency. Think of an air balloon. It has all the sandbags, and the sandbags are representative of the beliefs. So the sandbags keep the air balloon anchored on the ground. It's more of a returning to your native frequency. So you're letting go of the sandbags. I hope that resonates with you guys. And by means of letting go of the sandbags, you're naturally going to start to float up like that air balloon. And remember how comforting and how natural and how easy it is to be in that vibration. It's so much easier than all the efforting. So much easier. So have you implemented this? Have you tried this yet? I want you to use your third eye or your mind's eye, and I want you to conceptualize. If you let go of all the effort, can you see how automatically those people that you've been holding on to would not be a part of your newer reality? Some of them might be. Most of them won't. Some of the jobs might be, most of them won't. Because again, we hold on because it's so familiar to us. We've been habituated into this frame of mind, into this conditioning of the mind. So, the other message I have for you today is that, especially the last week or two, I find that we're no longer able to hold on to anything that relates to the past or relates to the future. And if we do, it's going to be excruciatingly painful. Whereas a year ago, 2 years ago, you might be able to get away with it. Why? Because the collective consciousness was holding on to everything. So when there's a majority of people vibrating at a certain octave, then we say, oh, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with it. I can stay here for a while. It's kind of like how people used to drink milk. You never felt bad because it was part of the collective belief that milk is good for you. And then someone raised their frequency, they remembered that it isn't good for you or whatever the case, and now less people drink milk because they've moved into a higher belief or to a different belief. I don't want to say higher, into a different belief that now makes the previous belief obsolete. By the way, milk doesn't bother me, but I'm just saying. I'm old school. But anyways, my point is, for the most part, people know now that milk is probably not the healthiest thing for you. But before, it was fine. There were allowances, there were permissions, because most people were collectively vibrating within that belief. Okay? So the other thing I want to point out is if you go back and think about these people that feel like it takes effort to maintain those relationships or to sustain those relationships, notice how it's always about how will I rectify this in the future with them? Or if you're at that job that you don't prefer, it's when will I leave? So just through that alone, you can discern or you can tell that those frequencies were dwelling at a lower vibration because they were popping you out of your present moment. So whenever you have a belief that you're running that is keeping you tethered to these different people and situations, You're at a frequency that's constantly pulling you out of the now. Constantly. It pulls you out of your alignment. Why? Why does it pull you out of your alignment? Because your highest alignment is your true frequency. So if you're not in your highest alignment and you're shaking hands with all these different beliefs and all these different jobs and all these different people in your life, and you're choosing to suffer or to fight or to effort over having it easy and having it be effortless, then you're never in your home frequency. So evidently, those other frequencies are always going to pull you out of your now because you're not even in your now. Another way to look at it is the home frequency is like, come on home, come on home, come on home. Let these things go. Let go of the sandbags, release them. Let it go, let it go, let it go. But you'll notice that whenever you're not in your highest frequency, you're almost incapable of being present. This is really good. I'm just getting this now. You're incapable of being present. Because you'll never be present until you replug into your highest frequency. But we've bought into the illusion that we have to work our way up, that we have to pay our dues, that we have to climb the rungs of that ladder. That's an old belief. That was true. It's no longer true. Everything is true based on the belief that you hold. I have a belief that milk is good for me, it'll be good for you because you believe it. So it may not affect you until it's not true anymore because you're wanting to try something different, because you're wanting to explore uncharted territory, because you're wanting to discover something new. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. This is time to jump. It's time to quantum leap yourself by being fearlessly willing to release the sandbags. And if you don't, you'll notice that your mind always gets jerked around. Our mind is going to continue to be jerked around until we lock into our highest frequency. Your highest frequency may not be someone else's highest frequency, but it'll feel like home. That's why I like to call it the home frequency. It'll feel like home. Some people like excitement. Some people like peace. Some people like joy. Some people like harmony. Everyone has their preferred state of frequency. But the main thing that I've been noticing the last week is that it's all about presence now. And if my mind starts to get jumbled, if my mind starts to go back and forth with all these different scenarios, there's still a subtle belief that I'm running that's making me stuck to that situation. So if you go to the worst case scenario, if you start to think of everything that could go sideways or everything that could go south, 100% of the time, it means that you're still attached to something. And the lower beliefs cause you to attach. The higher beliefs cause you to be unattached. You're unattached. I believe I'm going to be a billionaire, but I don't care if I am or not. I'm having fun with it. It's light. It's playful. It's the magician with the wand. Because you've collapsed time. You don't need anything from the outside anymore. But if you're like, I'm going to be a billionaire, and you journal every day, and you're like, and everything you do is strenuous, or it feels like effort, there's still an attachment. So the likelihood is that you're not vibrating at the highest frequency. You're forcing it. And you might get it. You might be able to materialize that which you're wanting, but it will come with a price. which is that you'll never be locked into your home frequency. You're always going to be in the rat race. You're always going to be in the back and forth. You're always going to be in that wrestle match with yourself. I thoroughly believe that some people are wired to be like that, like that. Like they're supposed to chase things because they're bringing in that masculine energy and that feels expanding to them. And I believe that other people are supposed to be more introverted. And I feel like we're starting to move in the direction of being so aware of our power that there's no more convincing ourselves that we have to be productive. And I think a lot of people are productive because they've gotten so accustomed to being productive, but they don't realize that they're still in fight or flight mode. They don't realize that they're still in survival mode. And you'll find that as you converge time by being present, because again, when you're present, everything collapses, then everything's going to start to slow down in your life. Everything's going to start to slow down. You're only going to show up when you feel inspired. You're only going to show up if it's impulse by spirit, if it's impulse by your soul. You're not going to do it if it feels like labor. And a lot of people get stuck in the rut of, I'm going to keep, and they're constantly climbing the ladder. And that usually pertains to a belief that they're still holding, that it has to be super busy and super fast to yield those results. And it doesn't have to be. That's the thing about this new earth. That's the thing about this new format of reality, is that the more that you honor your vibration, the higher you will go in life. Whereas back in the day, it was the harder you work, the more you will achieve. To me, that's outdated. That mentality is completely outdated. This is about listening to the body now. It's about tuning in to that frequency. If you're always busy, you don't have time to tune in. You just don't have time. You don't even know how to feel yourself anymore, because you've given so much energy to this thing that you're doing, and now the rat race has pulled you in. So I don't know if that helps you guys, but what I'm saying is your universe is going to show you now when you're aligned versus when you're not aligned. When you're aligned, there won't be a lot of noise in your mind. You're not going to get jerked around. Okay? And by the way, this applies to so many other things too. It applies to, like for me, I'm renewing my green card in the next few months. And the month of May was really tough for me because I started going to all these horrible outcomes of they're not going to approve me and da 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 da. It was like I got sucked into a black hole and I couldn't get out most of the month of May. But I was observing myself, but it still felt highly uncomfortable. I was telling Lori that I felt like I had bugs crawling all over me in May. I was just going to all these different places in my mind, like studying the algorithms, but also feeling the algorithms and being rejected or being disapproved. And what I was shown is that I was still running a belief that if I exhaust myself mentally, then the highest outcome will happen for me. So there was kind of like a martyrism in there where it's like, if I get fatigued or if I get completely depleted and I'm not fighting it anymore, then I'll be more human, and other humans approve humans, but they don't approve someone who's sovereign and someone who's like powerful and someone who's like me, fearless. Yes? So I was running this belief, and I think a lot of us run this belief where it's like, if I'm sovereign, then other humans are going to feel repulsed by me, and then they're not going to accept my green card renewal. So in my mind, I was running a belief where it's like, if you exhaust yourself by thinking about the worst case scenario and you become like a deflated balloon again, then maybe they are going to accept you, right? So I had to go through all of that turbulence to come back to myself and go, no, that's just an illusion. That corresponds to a belief I'm still holding. What if my belief was everything's already been taken care of? Even if I don't get accepted, there's a divine plan that I don't even need to trust because I know that by living fearlessly, the truth shows up sooner rather than later. I want you guys to get that for a minute. When you live in a sovereign state, when you live in your truth, when you stop taking on other people's baggage, there are no more time lags. There are no more time intervals. The truth shows itself right away. So, an example of this would be you are newly dating someone, and you think to yourself, well, I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'm not going to share that about myself yet. Da-di, da-di, da-da. All you're doing is you're decelerating the process of them seeing you as your true self. That true self will eventually come out. And when it does, then that person will be like, you're probably not my match. Why would they say that? Because if you have to hide your true self from the get-go, that's a red flag. If you have to hide your true self from the get-go, that's a red flag. How about we live in our truest essence now, and then on day one, day two, by cracking your jokes, by being unapologetically, blatantly yourself, that person shows you, I love you or I don't love you at all. But the truth shows up sooner. Because now you're living in a state where you're unattached. You're not trying to control anything anymore. And you're like, if they didn't like me, it's fine because I'm myself and I love who I am. Next, next, next. You see what I mean? Nothing can break you. Nothing can throw you out of your alignment anymore because you know that by living from your knowing and from your sovereignty, that the universe will always deliver the highest results sooner rather than later. So you might be at the Walmart and you're like, oh, I'll just put it off for a while. That's okay, right? Time is a gift from that perspective because time is allowing you to figure out your beliefs. I'll repeat that. Time is a gift from that perspective because it's giving you time to figure out your beliefs, to decide which ones are positively inclined versus negatively inclined, which ones pull you up, which ones pull you down. But the inevitable outcome is you're not going to be at the job anymore because you don't like it there. So why not get to that truth today rather than later? Well, because there's a belief getting in the way. There's a belief driving a wedge between you and your highest timeline. Your highest timeline doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. It means that you're refusing to abdicate your native frequency. It means you're refusing to abdicate your highest vibration. But that's okay because you actually have to uphold that frequency for a while for everything to kind of re-coordinate itself, for everything to reformat itself. It's an energy that you hold because you're holding new beliefs, energy, same thing. You're holding an energy. You have to hold that energy for a while for the universe to know that you mean business. You can't just step on a golf course and be like, I'm going to beat all of you and you never played before. You have to show up every day. You have to show up for this invisible energy every day. Hold it. Your solid reality that you've been playing in your whole life, you need to give it time to reshape itself and reform itself. It's not going to reform itself overnight. You understand? It's not going to reform itself overnight. You've been in it your whole life. Yes, there were changes, of course, because you've been changing as a person. But when you quantum leap yourself and you're like, boom, I'm going to get to my highest frequency now, a lot of things are going to collapse. You may not have money in your pocket for a while, but that's okay because you're holding what you know to be true. You're holding what you know to be true, and you're going to wait for everything around you to recode. This is literally like a computer that you're in. It's a video game. You're coding your reality. You're saying, I want a reality in accordance with this code. Or another metaphor is you're dialing the digits of what you want. And you're calling up a new reality. Hey, reality, I want to have a relationship with you in physical form. Come on in. Come on down. Yes? What you become aware of wants to have a relationship with you. I repeat that. What you become aware of wants to have a relationship with you. It's all consciousness. You're moving out of different radio stations. I'm aware that I want to have two places in the future where I don't want to travel all the time, but I want to have two places where I can switch up the scenery. Once I become aware of that vision or of that thought, there's an energy that wants to co-create that with me because it wants the same thing. It's all consciousness. I wouldn't be having that thought if it wasn't a thought that was already living, breathing, pulsating, and that thought and I can make it happen. So when you uphold that higher frequency, when you become aware of something, I'm aware that I want a man who treats me kindly. As soon as you become aware of what you want, there are variables or factors or cooperative components that want to make it happen for you. They want to have a relationship with you. Think about it. If I'm aware that a dog, like my best friend's dog, wants to be loved on, and I'm aware of its needs, don't you think the dog is always going to gravitate to me? Of course, because I'm aware of what it needs. And once I become aware of its needs, it wants to be in relationship with me. Once you're aware of your needs, once you're aware of what you want, there's something out there that wants to be in relationship with you. You've just opened yourself up to a new potential. All right, so I'm babbling on, but anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for your contributions. If you're seeing this not now, but later, and you'd like to make a contribution, I appreciate you. My website is feelgoodlife.com/donate. Very simple, feelgoodlife.com/donate. And I thank you for being here. Be your bold ass self. Don't be afraid, because if you are afraid, you're just putting off the inevitable. And if you're unafraid, the universe sees you. The universe says, wow, this person's a champ. Wow, this person is a badass. Wow, this person really believes that they can collapse everything that doesn't feel good to them. And my belief is that we're only here once, right? Life is short. We may reincarnate, but this life in this body is short. And if this was your last week, how would you live it? How would you live this final week? Would you be stressing about your job? Would you be working at the same job? Would you be in the same relationship with a man who slaps you around? How would you treat your life if this was your last week? What if we started approaching life from that angle? We could be dead tomorrow. So why not live it up now and claim it and own it? I'm not going to allow things to knock me off anymore. I'm sick of that. I've done that my whole life. But remember, it's a muscle that you're going to have to exercise. It's a muscle that you're going to have to exercise. You can't get on a golf course and expect to beat all the champs, all the professionals. You can't do that. You have to hold. Energy needs to stop being evangelized. I really have a problem with people who evangelize spirituality. Spirituality is energy, just like your chair is energy, but it's in a dimension that you can't see yet. That's all. Okay? If you work with your energy in the higher realms, it's no different than being a gymnast. There's no difference. It's not, ooh, wow, oh, you think you're more spiritual because you can dial in a reality. No, I think I'm spiritual because I'm energizing the unseen, but I see it in my mind's eye and I know it to be true. How is that different than being a great chef? There's no difference. You're a great chef because you apply yourself every day. You're dedicated to baking amazing things, to cooking amazing dinners. Why is it different to work with energy? Same thing. You're just working with higher dimensional fields that are inaccessible to most humans. You energize them long enough, they become your reality. Simple. I don't see spirituality as like, ooh, no, I'm like an athlete in the spiritual realm. I'm like an athlete, Vooch, focused. Same thing. Same thing as fencing, same thing as playing golf, same thing as swimming. There's a focus, and you know where your energy is going. It's not going to your work every day. Oh, I got to work today. That's like a slave, right? We've left those realities now. We don't have to do anything anymore. We do it because we have a belief. I've got to work. I've got to take sessions today. That's so obligatory. Like, you don't have to do anything. The only reason you think you do is because you're running a belief. And that's okay. The universe loves you. It's saying, take your time. Take your time. It said that to me in May. I was down in the dumps. I got pummeled. I was disturbed all of May. All of May. And my universe loves me. It said, hey, just be in it. If it feels horrible, just be in it. But don't forget to observe what's coming up for you. And I got it. I eventually cracked the code. The code was I had a belief that by being sovereign, the world would work against me. I'm not going to be afraid of being sovereign anymore. So I'm grateful to May because May showed me this belief that was so subtle that I still was operating from. Now it's gone. So everything is a gift. There's no right, no wrong. I think it's important for us to keep that in mind because a lot of people want to tune out what I say or other people say, and they're like, "Oh, let me just take that piece," and yeah, that's how he teaches. No, that's not how it works, my friends. There's no right, no wrong. It's all true based on your beliefs. It's all true based on your beliefs. Of course, you have to work at Walmart if you believe you have to be at Walmart. That's true. It's true that you have to work at Walmart if you believe you need to be at Walmart. That's true. No one can deny that. It's true until it's not true, but will be true to someone else when you graduate from that. All right? I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you again for your support. And I'll see you guys very soon. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I love you.